ranking weapons from Roblox rivals. So the first one up is the assault rifle. I mean, this is pretty standard. It has pretty good DPS and it's pretty good no matter what map it is and at any range. So I think this has to go in S tier because you can't name me a situation where the assault rifle isn't useful. And if you can, I would be shocked because this thing is OP, man. Burst rifle, I don't think its DPS is as good, but it does do quite a bit of damage, like 60 or something if you hit them in the head. So I gotta put that. Y'all put it S tier, why not? The bow, honestly, the bow is so slept on. Like, I know it's hard to hit people with it, but if you hit them in the head fully charged at 200%, it does like 120 damage. So I think it deserves to be A tier. The only reason why I don't think I would put it in S tier, because even though you do get a speed buff, like I said, it's really hard to hit shots with the bow. And honestly, the snipers in the game, which one shots you, so the bow is not as good. Unlike the sniper, that's superior to it. Because the only thing that the bow has over the sniper is its speed boost, but you could just use Warhorn or daggers or something, you know? And the crossbow, it does go through katana. That is really useful, but it does the least amount of damage out of every sniping weapon. So I think for that, it also has to go in A tier. But I do think the bow is better. I'm gonna try and rank these weapons in order on the tier list so we can more accurately judge where they would actually be. Now, distortion. This thing's splash damage is really good, and its damage actually got buffed, so it's pretty good. And that little ability you can use where you trap people is pretty useful. This is especially good if you're in a tight map like arena or backroom. So I'm gonna go A tier. Now the only reason why I don't think it's S tier is because I do think there's counters you could have to the distortion weapon. Like all you really have to do is stay on the other side of the map as them, especially if it's a big map like big crosswords or something. They aren't gonna get you with the distortion gun if we're being real. They can just snipe you. What are you gonna do? Just sit there and try and use your splash damage? That ain't gonna help you. Now, next weapon is energy rifle. I mean, it's alright, you know. It's got decent damage, and it's got pretty good range, and it bounces off the walls. But I think all these weapons we've ranked so far are a lot better. This is kind of more like a last minute option, but it's not horrible. Now, the flamethrower, it does pretty good damage, and it's infinite. But the problem is that it's close range. If it also would be far range, this thing could be S tier and its ability is pretty good, but they also nerfed it because mainly it would be so OP in Juggernaut mode. You could just push the Juggernaut off the map if it was like construction or something. But now it's just, I mean, it's good damage wise, and it's pretty useful in the chicken game because in chicken game, they'll take damage while they have to stay and stand still. So it's pretty good for a chicken game. And overall, it's decent. I mean, if you are using the flamethrower, you're going to have a secondary weapon that has good range, or else you're getting cooked. Because, again, just like the distortion gun, all you have to do to counter it is be on the other side of the map. So, this is good. Just like distortion, this is good on a tight, small map. But on a big map, it's kind of mid unless you get near your opponent. But I do think it's more useful than the distortion gun, which might be a hot take, but I think the bow is better because with the bow you can hit them from anywhere on the map. Unlike the flamethrower and the distortion, it's pretty limited. But what puts those two above the crossbow, in my opinion, is like I said earlier about the crossbow, its damage is lackluster. Even though 75 damage is good, I mean, let's be real, how many of you watching this are actually hitting every single headshot? Most of the time, you're just going to hit them on their body, which does 37.5 damage or something like that, which isn't really that great. So I think the bow is a lot better than all of these so far, but all of these are still great, don't get me wrong. How I would say these tiers are is S tier is like perfect or like the best of the best. A tier is amazing, which means usually it's really good, but there's either counters to it or it's just there's just superior options. B tier is solid. It's like has some good uses, but not a lot. C tier would be bad in most situations, but sometimes it can be good. And D tier would be like absolute garbage. Yeah. I wish there was an F tier because that's what that would be, but there isn't one here. Now, grenade launcher. This is insane for movement. and it does pretty good damage. But its damage got nerfed though. I think it does like 60, but I mean that's still good though, considering it's really easy to hit people with the grenade launcher because of its splash damage. But I don't know. Like I said about the flamethrower and the distortion gun, its range is very limited, but I do think this has more range than the flamethrower. Not the distortion gun though, but the flamethrower does more damage than the distortion, so that's why I put it above it. Now grenade launcher, you know, the thing about this is like if you're only using it for damage, it's okay, but it's the fact that can have insane movement with this that puts it above those for me. Honestly, probably better than the bow too, mainly for the movement. If the movement sucked, it would be in like B tier, but the movement really carries the grenade launcher because that is useful in every single map. Because if you're moving so fast, it's going to be hard for your opponents to hit you. And really, the only counter it is using like sniper or something like that. But since you can move so fast and the sniper can't, you can just easily get to them. So I think that does put it above the rest of the A tier weapons. But since it is close range and its damage is only okay, it's not going in S tier. And you might be saying, how is Assault Rifle S tier and that isn't? Well, Assault Rifle, you can attack them from anywhere on the map, and its damage is actually really good considering how fast you shoot. Like, with 15 bullets, you can kill someone. That's pretty good considering that you shoot maybe like 3 bullets a second. So it really only takes you a couple seconds to kill them, and it has a lot of bullets. Like it's got like 120 or 150 or something. This has like 24. And sometimes you miss the grenades, you know? But a lot of the time you're using it for movement. So how much damage are you really getting out of this, you know? But for movement, it is insane. And for movement, it's probably the best in the game. But it's just the damage that's holding it back mainly, in my opinion. Now the gun blade, bro, I saw someone said this was garbage. Now I disagree with that heavily. Now I will say it is also a close range gun, okay? Because it's really hard to hit your shots if you're across the map. But this thing is so good in a 1v1. You hit them, it does 50 damage, and then you just charge at them with the dash ability. And it's especially good if you pair it with the Warhorn and the sight, because you can dash with the sight. Like after you use your Warhorn, so you already got a movement buff, and the scythe dashing is OP. And then you dash them with the gun blade, and then you slice them. And after you slice them, it does 45 damage, and it automatically shoots them again for 50. So that's 95 damage right there. So really, if you hit someone twice, they're basically dead. They're going to be dead because it goes 50 damage, 45, then 50, and then they're at 5 health, which you could use literally anything to kill them at that point. They're going to have to headshot you or something for you to die. But its weakness is, like I said, it's another close range weapon, and they could just katana your shots like most weapons. And it's not that good in squads or something. It's really only good in 1v1, so I'm going to say B tier, but I do love this weapon. It's personally one of my favorites in the game, and I think it's better than the energy rifle, for being real. If you disagree with me, let me know why, but that's my opinion on that. Now we get the minigun. I know it makes you really slow, but dude, that damage goes crazy. And this is probably the best weapon for Juggernaut mode, but there is an easy counter. Just use Katana, and the minigunner is gonna die, and it's like really slow. So what are they gonna do? It takes them like a second to stop. So you would Katana deflect like 70 damage, and it already puts you in a huge advantage over them. So this is another B tier weapon. I think the energy rifle is better because it's not as easily counterable as the minigun. I don't really think the energy rifle has anything to counter with unless you can katana it, but I don't think so. So it's really only one of the only weapons where there isn't a counter. Now permafrost. This is basically if someone combined the burst rifle and the freeze ray. And obviously, that's going to be stupidly OP, especially that freezing ability, how you can use it multiple times. And its damage is pretty good. I mean, I can't really think of a good counter to it, so I think that puts it in S tier. I mean, the only counter I could really see for the permafrost would be, again, being on the other side of the map with a sniper, because it's going to be hard for them to hit you if you're far away from them. It's not impossible though; it can do that. It's just a lot harder, but that's really it, man. And the katana, I guess, but overall, I feel like permafrost is good on every single map, especially on maps like Splash, or if you freeze them, they go through the water, they're instantly dead. which is probably the most like broken thing. So, and it's a good weapon. I know it's a battle pass weapon, but I hate going against it personally, and it's really hard to beat permafrost users because it's two great things in one. So the burst rifle already does some of the highest damage in the game, and this is basically the burst rifle. But if it went to Wendy's and got a frosty and it was too cold, it's like it's all cold and stuff. So I think that does put it in S tier. If you disagree, let me know. Like, if you disagree with anything, let me know why, because I do want to hear you out. Because maybe I might be tripping on some of these takes, or maybe you think I'm overrating something or underrating something. But so far, I think this is a great list. Yeah, I think everything's in perfect order too. Now, next up is the paintball gun. Now, this does some of the most like damage in the game, and like it, like how it like blocks out their screen basically, so it makes it harder for them to see you. Now, my only problem with it is it has barely any ammo, so you actually have to hit every single shot, which I'm not great at doing with these type of weapons. So people are gonna be mad saying I don't think it's S tier, but I do think it's A tier. It's probably the best weapon here, either this or grenade launcher in this tier, because its damage is definitely like one of the best in the whole game. I ain't denying that, and it's really good, but it's so hard to hit your shots with this thing, and maybe that's a skill issue. But I think most people struggle with it. The only people I really see using paintball gun is in a 1v1 in ranked mode. If it's not that, no one's really using it because they're going to use sniper or assault rifle or something like that. Now, the RPG, why would you use this if you have the grenade launcher? This is like grenade launcher's little bro who wants to be just like him. He goes to the gym and everything, tries to be like him. Now, I do think this does more damage, but that's not why grenade launcher is good. No one's using grenade launcher for its damage. They're using it for the splash and the movement, which, yes, the RPG does have the splash and it does slightly more damage. It's not enough damage for me to make me think it's amazing, and you move really slow with this, which is a huge negative side to the RPG, which would be okay if it did amazing damage, but its damage is just okay, and it makes you slow. And it's honestly only good in a map like Dak Rooms and Arena sometimes. If you're gonna use it on like docks or something, just give up. You're not gonna hit them unless you're right by them. And if it's a map like Big Crossroads, why are you using the RPG unless you're even in the tunnel? Which there's other things you could use in the tunnel that are more OP than this. Because it's so hard to hit your shots unless you're close to them. If you're close to them, it's insanely easy, but if you're not, then it's bad. Now, this used to be A tier just because it did like 120 damage for a headshot, but now it does what, like 80, which is still decent. It might even be less than that, honestly, but the making you slower and it's only good in close range maps just makes this kind of mid. So I'm gonna go C tier. Now, if you're in back rooms, that would be like S or A, but in most cases, RPG is kind of pointless. I don't really see why you'd use it. Now, shotgun, this does some of the most amount of damage in the game, but then again, just like half of these weapons, it's only a close range. Like, it's only good on a smaller map or if you have movement boosts with Warhorn and Scythe or stuff like that. Like the shotgun, and plus there's such an easy counter, just katana them. Or use the riot shield. If you're running away and you have a riot shield in the back, what are they gonna do? Exactly. I mean, they would just use a different weapon, but the shotgun, I don't know. But its damage is enough for me to put it in the A tier. It could go B tier, honestly, but I think the damage is some of the highest in the whole game, and you can't really complain about that. But it's just really easy to counter. Either just get away or use katana, like I said, so it makes it kind of pointless. Now, next up, the sniper. Do we even have to say it? Everyone knows this is the best weapon, and it's not even close. Name me another weapon that can one-shot you from anywhere on the map, even in the close range maps, it's good, as long as you learn how to properly snipe. And even if you aren't, if you got like auto aim or something, you're hitting every damn headshot. Everyone's got a phone nowadays. We could all just go on our phone, use sniper, and win every single match. It's how Ian got gold too, because he's a cheater who uses Happy Mod. We all know this. But this is definitely the best weapon. Like, I don't think you can even debate it. The only real downside is making you slow when you're holding it. But since it one shots you, that's not even a problem. And it's not like you're holding it the whole time when you're using it, unlike something like an RPG. With the sniper, you're only holding it when you plan on sniping someone, which you could just easily move to a different weapon. which you could do that with the RPG, but I don't know. The sniper's just way better in my opinion. And I guess really the only other thing that can one-shot you from anywhere on the map is the katana because of its deflect, but the sniper is just the best weapon, and it's probably always going to be that way. Even when they nerfed it, it was still really good, but everyone said that was stupid, and I agree that they don't need to nerf the sniper. It's perfect the way it is, and it should always one-shot you, bro. But I will say, versing someone on big crossroads or docks at this is so damn annoying. But I be using this too. I use this on like almost every map unless like backrooms or something. And now next up is daggers. I have another hot take. A lot of people say this is one of the worst weapons in the game, but personally I think it's one of the best because if you headshot people with it, just 80 damage with just half of their health gone, you get an insane movement buff and you can double jump. How is that not OP? Even if you aren't trying to attack people with it, just use it for movement. Like movement wise, it's A tier, and damage wise, it's also A tier. But the double jump makes me put it into S tier, honestly. I do think it's the best secondary weapon in the game, which a lot of you might think I'm crazy for that, but name me another secondary where you can double jump, move fast, has a lot of the things, and it does a good amount of damage. Like this, out of all the secondaries, is probably like the second or third one that has the highest amount of damage. Like it's insane. And I don't know why more people don't use the daggers because it also goes through the katana, which is one of the most annoying weapons in the game. So there's not even really a counter to this besides Riot Shield. But who uses Riot Shield? And if they are, you could just use grenade launcher or something. Now, next weapon, energy pistols. Now, the damage on them does suck. However, there's infinite bullets, so can you really complain? Like, it's got to go either top of B or bottom A, but I think top of B is more fair because damage is horrible and it takes you like half a minute to actually kill someone off of that, but still, infinite bullets, you can't really complain. Even if it did like 1 damage, it would still be in B tier because of the infinite bullets. Like it would have to do like almost nothing for it to be that bad. And it's a really good secondary. I can't blame you if you use it. I do think there's way better options, but I can't really complain if you use the energy pistols because it's infinite ammo. And in maps like and modes like Juggernaut mode, it's one of the best because it's infinite. And the Juggernaut has so much health, so you want stuff with infinite damage to it. Exogun, a lot of people like this. I think it's really bad, not gonna lie. I mean, its damage isn't that great, and it's only useful if you're versing someone with Riot Shield, honestly, or Katana. But, I don't know. Even then, there's just better counters, like Spray and Daggers. So, honestly, I have a hot take. I think this is probably my least favorite weapon in the whole game, so maybe that's why I'm biased and putting it in D tier. It doesn't even have that much ammo either, I don't think. It's got, what, like 20? Like, and how useful is that? Not everyone hits every damn shot. The only thing it's got going for it is the splash. But then again, grenade launcher, RPG. You know, there's other weapons with splash damage that are just superior. Like, the Exogun is so mid. It has to be, like, either the worst or the second worst secondary or even just weapon in general. It's so garbage. I really don't get the hype behind the Exogun because it's only good against Riot Shield users, which not that many people even use that because everyone's using either Katana, Trowel, or Scythe. Like those are the big three for the melee weapons. Now, Flare Gun, it can be useful because it does do a good amount of damage if you're stuck in the flare. If you're just running through it, it's only going to do like 20, which is not useful, and it only has 2 bullets. So for that reason, it kind of has to go D tier. I don't know whether it's better than Exogun or not. It's kind of on par because it does do more damage, but it's way less ammo. But on the chicken game mode, it is probably one of the best because if you manage to time it right, and as you have to stop, like you shoot the flare gun into where the person is standing, they're gonna die. Like it'll do like 200 damage throughout that time. So in that mode, it's probably S tier. In general, it's either D or C. Like it only has like one purpose. But I don't know. I do think it's better than the Exo gun because at least on a map like Backrooms, it can be good, or in a game mode like Chicken game, it can be good. But I don't know. I think it's also a very lackluster weapon because no one really runs into the flare. So, and even if they do, it barely does anything. So I don't think it's that great unless it's a tight map. Now, handgun, they did buff this recently, I think, and it does more damage now. So I'll put it in C. I think the RPG is a lot better, but I mean, the handgun does have a lot of ammo, but its damage isn't that great. And honestly, why would you use the handgun when there's revolver, daggers, slingshot, spray? Like basically almost every secondary is better than this thing. The only thing it's got going for it is its range and its ammo, because no one uses this for damage. Let's be real. Now revolver, this is insane. This got to be S tier, bro. It's I don't know. I think it's a little worse than permafrost, but its damage is pretty good. It can do what, like 35 for a headshot, and it's got a decent amount of ammo, like an average amount of ammo, what, like 30 to 40. I think that's not horrible, and it's pretty easy to use it and hit your shots with it. So I think S tier is fair, but I could put actually, yeah, I think burst rifle is a little better because it does more damage and has more ammo, but I wouldn't be mad if you used revolver. That's probably the second best secondary weapon because I just really love the daggers, man. I don't get why more people don't use them. They say it's like the worst weapon in the game. Like it is hard to hit shots with the daggers, but if you learn how to, it's so OP. And the revolver is just very user friendly though. So anyone, if you just started playing Rivals, you should probably try and save up for the revolver because it's very user friendly. And if you right click when you're on laptop or PC, you can shoot out like 6 shots back to back. And if you hit all those, your opponent's dead. So you can just kill them in like 1 second. The shorty, I think this technically does the most damage in the game because it shoots out 2 bullets at once. And if you hit them in the head, then it does like 220. But the problem is, it's close range. You already know what I've said about that. I don't think close range stuff is that great because it's so easy to just get on the other side of the map with the amount of movement and stuff in this game. And you can just use the katana. But I do think it's a lot better than the shotgun because it does way more damage, so it just makes the shotgun kind of useless. And this is up there for one of the best secondary weapons. Because why would you use shotgun? If you got the shorty, you could just pair this with permafrost. If you freeze someone with the permafrost, then you just go up to them with the shorty, wait for them to be unfrozen. Like the second they unfreeze, just hit them in the head, they're dead. Unless they katana deflect on time. But that a lot of people can't do that on time. So this is OP with the permafrost. Very good weapon. They're both very good. But they're not S tier worthy because they're close range. And I don't think close range stuff could be S tier. Next up is Slingshot. This used to be one of the worst weapons in my opinion, but they recently buffed its damage and it's actually got insane damage now. Honestly, it's probably like right behind the flamethrower and the distortion because it's got like 100 ammo now, which is amazing. And it does like 8 damage a hit, and they shoot out very fast and they bounce off walls. So there's chances for them to hit you multiple times. So it can do like 16 to 24 damage for just one ball, which is pretty good considering how fast they shoot out. And it can hit multiple people at once. It's just something a lot of weapons can't do. So I think A tier is very fair for that. I just don't think it's S tier worthy because it can shoot kind of far, but it's like a mid range weapon, It's not like far range. Far range weapons are always going to be the best because you can use them no matter where you are on any map. The slingshot, like if you're in big crossroads, you aren't hitting someone with it no matter how far you try and hit it. It's just mid range. I think where it strives best is in close range maps and mid range maps like docks or construction and stuff like that. It's very good in those maps too. But in big range maps, it suffers unless you manage to get near the other person. But like I've said before, it's very easy to outrun people if you got warhorn, scythe, daggers, bow, anything like that. It's just easy to get away from people. So that makes the slingshot lack in that area. Next up is spray gun. This is one of the best legendaries because even though its damage is okay, it's got moderate damage, which is solid. It goes for the riot shield and the katana, which is OP because a lot of people use the katana and some people use the riot shield, but yeah, it's very good. I do think it's on par with the slingshot, but I'm gonna put it above it because the slingshot doesn't go through katanas and riot shield. Well, actually, no, it does go through katana, but I don't think it goes for riot shield. But the spray goes for both, so that just puts it slightly above for me. It does like the same amount of damage basically as a slingshot. It does have less ammo, but since it goes for riot shield, I think it deserves to be a spot ahead of it. Now, next up is Uzi. They basically made this the assault rifle 2.0. So for that, I think it's got to be top A tier. No, the only reason why it is an S tier is because it's lacking damage a bit. But it's still really good. Like, it's still a really great option to use for a secondary, especially if you aren't going to use the assault rifle. If you're going to use the sniper, that would be a great secondary to use, because then you basically have an assault rifle 2.0, you know? It's like its little brother again, like I said earlier, you know, with the RPG. This is its little brother, but it's on par with it, honestly. But it just, if it had more damage, it would be S tier. Like, not saying that its damage is bad, but it's just slightly below what I think it should be to be S tier. Like, if it did like 2 or 3 more damage a hit, then it would be S tier. Because I think it does like 8, which is, it's good, but it's not S tier worthy in my opinion. You got to do more than that. Warper, this can be really good if you're trying to fool your opponents or trick them. It's nice to just teleport around the map, but it doesn't do any damage. So it's a one trick pony. So it's got to go top of B because it's literally its only use. Like, you can't do damage with it, which is the most important thing in this game, is to be able to do damage. Because if you just use stuff that doesn't do damage, you ain't winning no matter what. You can run for your life, but you ain't gonna beat them by doing nothing. The battle axe, this does really good damage, but it makes you kind of slow, I think. But its dash ability is pretty good. I think top of B is fair. Yeah, it's more useful than that. And I'll put the Warper below that stuff. I'll put it right there. Because, like I said, it's a one-trick pony. But with the Battle Axe, pretty good damage. I can't complain. It's moderate. And, you know, it's useful. If you do the dash ability, then swipe, it can do like 60 damage, which is really good. Now, next up is Chainsaw. Also does like 60 damage, but you get to move around really fast with this thing, so I'm going to put it above the Battle Axe. Now, the Fists. I don't know. You can double jump with them. You move slightly faster, but its damage kind of sucks. Like, what does it do? Like 30 a hit? Well, I mean, that doesn't suck, but for a melee weapon, it does, because it should be doing more than that. Yeah, I think it goes right there. Because the Gunblade and the energy pistols are just better, because Gunblade does more damage, and when you have to swipe it, even if you don't have ammo, you're just hitting people with it, it does more damage than the fist, and you have an ability to dash forward, so that kind of, it's like on par with double jumping, but yeah, I think that's what the Gunblade above it, and energy pistols, it just has infinite ammo. Yeah, but B tier stuff is still good to use, guys. I'm not saying this stuff is bad. Now, stuff that'd be bad to use is like C and D tier stuff, unless it's on the right map. B tier stuff can work on basically any map, but just not the best option, you know? A tier is really good on most maps or in most cases, but there's some like maps or modes where it lacks, or just things it lacks in, and S tier is like perfect. Like, you can't beat it. It's like good for anything. Now, next up is Katana, also S tier, honest, yeah, right below the Sniper, because it can also one-shot you from anywhere in the map because of the deflecting. Like, if you're trying to headshot someone, if a sniper's trying to headshot you and you Katana deflect it on the other side of the map, they're dead. So it also one-shots you from no matter on the map where you are, which is amazing. That's very important. Next up is a knife, another one-shot weapon, and it's really good. I think it deserves S tier because the backshotting. No, not the backshotting. Whoa, don't take that out of context. I didn't mean it like that. I don't go to Diddy parties, I swear. But I mean backstabbing. That's what I meant to say. That's very useful. It's kind of tricky to learn, but once you get the hang of it, it can be the best melee weapon in the game. Like, either that, katana, or scythe, or riot shield, maybe. The Maul, this thing does so much damage, like 70 damage or something, and it also has the ability to smash down, which I don't remember how much damage that does, but I imagine it's probably like moderate damage. So if you do that and then swing someone, that's like most their health gone. So I think that deserves the top A. Like, yeah, right around here. Yeah, like right here. Ride Shield also deserves the top of A tier. I think it is better than the Maul, because you can, if you're really low in health and you need to run and they don't got like a grenade launcher, a spray, exo, or an RPG, then you can easily just run for your life with it and it can't damage you, and you can heal while doing it or something, so that makes it really good. Next up is Scythe, another S tier. The dash ability is really good for movement, And sometimes if someone's trying to snipe you, and as they shoot, you dash, they ain't gonna hit you, you know? Unless they're using happy mod like Ian, bro. But if not, then you're safe, bro. So I think that's really good. Next up is the trowel. It's good for running away from people because you can build a wall that blocks them. Not on some Donald Trump shit, but you know what I mean. Like, you can just block them. Like, if someone's trying to use the knife and chase you, right? Oh, you can just use the trowel to build a wall, and then they're stuck there for like a second or two, which gives you time to outrun them. But I do think the maul and the riot shield are better, so I'm gonna put it below them. Now, flashbang, bro. I mean, I know this makes people blind, but how useful is that really, honestly? Like, all they have to do is look down and it doesn't do anything. You only get two of them. And even if they do get flashbang, if they got katana, they could just use that and just move around trying to get escape and you're not going to get them, you know? But most of the time, they aren't going to get hit by this thing because they're just going to look down when they see it coming at them. So it's not going to do anything. You only get two chances. So for that, I'm going to say C tier. And I'm sorry, Ian. I know you love that weapon, but well, not weapon, utility. I think that's what it is, right? Yeah, utility. But I don't know. I feel like it's only good if it actually does hit them, and they just all they have to do is run and use katana, or if they have riot shield, just look away from you. Even though they aren't gonna know where you are, but they'll just run somewhere, and you probably are gonna have to get ahead of them. But it's not useless though. Actually, I think I'll put it the top of C, or maybe the bottom of. Yeah, no, I think top of C because like I said, there's only two of them. Like if there was like 10, it could probably be like mid B tier, but there's only two, and you aren't gonna land every single flashbang, and most of the time they're just gonna look down, so it defeats the purpose of the flashbang. Honestly, if they want to make this good, they should just make it so like even if you are looking down, you still get hit by it because it would just make it like top B tier. But it's just so easy to look down when you see it coming, that I don't think it's that useful. But they should make it, like I said, flashbangs you no matter what and give it like 5 to 10 of them, and it would actually be good. But as in the current state, I don't think it's that great, in my opinion. A lot of you would probably put it S tier, but I don't view it as an S tier thing. Next up is freeze ray. Well, also goes in S tier because you can freeze people and then do, like I said with the shorty strat, headshot them and they're dead, or do that with sniper or something. It's easy to kill people with that, and just like the permafrost on the splash map, you can make them fall through the water, which is already OP because they just die. Now next up is grenade. Really good damage, does like 75, so it's half your health. And you can do glitches with it where you can get on the crane on a construction map or just move around pretty fast with it. So I think this is also S tier for utilities. For utility, it's probably above the freeze ray because it's more useful. Honestly, yeah, it's probably like right here in my opinion. It's just so good in like every map, no matter what it is. Even if you aren't trying to damage people with it, it's still S tier because you can move across the map or do glitches to get to places you usually can't go to, which puts you at an advantage if you're on the crane on the construction map if you have the sniper or something, because it's going to be hard for them to hit you from the bottom of the map unless they also have sniper or something. But most people are going to be using like assault rifle on that map or something. So you just get an advantage on being on the crane with the sniper if you use the grenade to get there. Or you could use daggers, I think, and Warhorn, but most people would use the grenade strat. Next up is medkit. Bro, it's the only utility, well, the only thing in the whole game that heals you. How could it not be S tier? Doesn't it also heal like half your health or like something like 80? It's amazing. Like if you're at like 10 health, this can really save you and put you back in the game. Being from 10 health to like 90, you can come back and clutch up. Unless they have sniper or something that can one shot you. But even then, 90 health is a lot better than 10. Molotov does decent damage. It used to be S tier, but I don't know. Like if you're not standing in it, it's not that great. But it does do pretty good damage, I can't lie. So I think it deserves to be right here. It's still amazing. I'd still use it. It's pretty good. Satchel. This can be pretty good if you know how to use it. Also for movement and for damage. But grenade is just superior, honestly. Even though there's free satchels, but I'm still putting it in an A tier. No, smoke bomb. what are you doing if you use this? This is how I know you're adopted if you use this, you know, like what do you get out of the smoke bomb? Oh wow, someone can't use flamethrower or Molotov on you. How many people use the flamethrower? I know a lot use the Molotov, but just run away from it, and it ain't gonna do that much damage to the point where you should be bringing out a smoke grenade over the actual grenade or med kit or a knife or freeze ray or any of that stuff, bro. I meant not the knife. The knife's a melee. Sorry, but smoke grenade actually might be the worst thing in this game. It's so useless. Trip mine does 149 damage. Now, it can be hard to predict where people are going to move, but in a map like Backrooms or Arena or Docks or Construction, it's so easy to tell where people are going to go. You can just immediately, like, place it in the right spot. Like, in Backrooms, just when there's those really tight hallways that you spawn nearby, just put the trip mines there, and most people are going to land on it. And it puts you at a huge advantage. Even if they heal, they're going to be, like, half health. It's still, like, OP, you know? So I would say that's S tier. It does so much damage. I think out of the utilities, I think it does the most. Yeah, I think it does. Unless you hit every single satchel as a headshot at the same time. But if not, then yeah, the trip mine's the best. Actually, no. I think medkit's better because healing is really important. But I use the trip mine more personally because it's really fun to watch people run into it and almost die. And you can hit them with literally anything and win. The jump pad, amazing for movement, does no damage, however, so it's also one trick pony, so I'm gonna put it in B tier. Warhorn, I know this doesn't do damage, but the movement buff is very important and it makes it a lot harder for people to hit you, so I'm gonna put it yeah, I think it's better. Actually, no, I think Riot Shield and Maul are better, but not the Trow. Because the movement is very important, even if it doesn't do damage, you know? Well, not, I guess you could say the same thing for Jump Pad, actually. I'll put Jump Pad at the top of B. Because it doesn't make sense why I would put the Trow way above the Jump Pad, but I don't know. I meant, no, I meant to say the Warhorn above the Jump Pad. But the Warhorn makes your whole team move faster, which I guess the jump pad kind of does, but it just launches you. It's not actually buffing your movement. Like, I guess in a way it kind of is, but it's just launching you. Unlike the Warhorn's actually making you run, like, twice as fast. Warp Stone, I mean, you can go anywhere on the map. Does no damage, though, so it's also just a one-trick pony, so I think it also goes in this squad. Now that's going to conduct my rivals tier list for the weapons. Now let me know, where did I get this right? Where did I get this wrong? And if you do disagree, tell me why you think it would go higher or lower. And make sure to like, comment, and subscribe for more videos. And I got you. I'll probably go live tomorrow if you're watching this on February 28th. Have a blessed day, everyone. That conducts my tier list.